Hello everyone, this is Mr. Ahmed Faidi and this is a new video in geometry, and inshallah we'll talk about measure the angle between two straight lines. So measure of the acute angle between the two straight lines. If we have two straight lines L1 and L2 and we have angle theta, then we define the theta to be the measure of the acute angle between the two straight lines L1 and L2. And we find, or we studied before, slope of the straight line whose equation ax plus by plus c equals 0, where is the slope straight line equals negative coefficient of x over coefficient of y will be negative a over b. So if we have two straight lines L1 and L2, so L1 make angle theta 1 with the positive direction of x-axis, and L2 make theta 2 with the positive direction of x-axis. So slope of the straight line L1 equals M1 equal tan theta 1, and we can find the slope of L1 by using the rule negative coefficient of x over coefficient of y, where theta 1 is the measure of the positive angle, which is a straight line L1 makes with the positive direction of the x-axis, where theta 2 is a measure of the positive angle, which is a straight line L2 makes with the positive direction of the x-axis. If M1 and M2 are the two slopes of L1 and L2 respectively, and theta is a measure of the acute angle between them, then tan theta, we can find the angle between the two straight lines by using this rule. Tan theta equals absolute value M1 minus M2 over 1 plus M1 times M2. So we have an example. Find the measure of the acute angle between the two straight lines whose equations are 3x minus 4y minus 11 equals 0 and x plus 7y plus 5 equals 0. So firstly, we must find the slopes of the two straight lines. So we find the slope of each straight line. M1 equal negative coefficient of x over coefficient of y will be negative 3 over negative 4, which is equal to 3 over 4. And this is the slope of the first line. And M2 will be negative 1 over 7. So this is the slope of second line. We can use the rule tan theta equal absolute value M1 minus M2 over 1 plus M1 times M2. So we can substitute by M1 and M2. So tan theta equal absolute value M1 3 over 4 minus M2 negative 1 over 7 over 1 plus 3 over 4 multiplied by negative 1 over 7. Substituting the values of M1 and M2. So tan theta equals absolute value for 1, which is equal 1. So we can use the calculator to find theta by using the rule shift tan the ratio. So theta equal shift tan 1 will be 45 degrees. Another example. Mention the relation between the two straight lines L1 and L2 in the following cases. If tangents of the angle between them equal 0, then L1 is parallel to L2. If the tangent of the angle between them is undefined, then the two straight lines are perpendicular. Letter C is the slope of the first is M1 and slope of second is M2. Mention the relation between M1 and M2 in A and B. So M1 equal M2 in letter A, and M1 times M2 will be negative 1 because in letter B the two straight lines are perpendicular, and in letter A the two straight lines are parallel. Try to solve. Find the measure of the acute angle between each of the following pairs of straight lines are vector equals 0 and negative 2 plus k multiplied by 3 and negative 1. And second one are equal 0 and 5 plus k multiplied by 2 and 1. So we can find the slope of So first straight line m1 equal will be negative 1 over 3, and in second one we can find slope m2 by same rule 1 over 2 from u vector. So we have the rule tan theta equal absolute value m1 minus m2 over 1 plus m1 times m2. So by substitution, so we have negative 1 over 3 minus 1 over 2 over 1 plus m1 multiplied by m2 negative 1 over 3 multiplied by 1 over 2. So will be absolute value for 1 will be 1. So tan theta equal 1, tan theta equal 1, so theta will be 45 degrees. Another example, we have x plus 2y plus 3 equals 0 and x minus 3y plus 1 equals 0. So we have here m1 will be negative coefficient of x over coefficient of y, negative 1 over 2, and we have m2 negative coefficient of x over coefficient of y, so will be 1 over 3. So we can use same rule, tan theta equal m1 absolute value m1 minus m2 over 1 plus m1 times m2. So m1 will be negative 1 over 2 minus 1 over 3 over 1 plus m1 times m2 will be negative 1 over 2 multiply by 1 over 3. So will equal 1. So tan theta equal 1. So measure of angle theta will be shift tan 1 will be 45 degrees. Another example, in the first one we have 2y equal 3, so y equals 3 over 2. So the slope here is 0 because y equals 3 over 2 parallel to x-axis, so m here equal to 0. And in second one, 2x plus y equal 4, so m2 will be negative coefficient of x over coefficient of y, so will be negative 2. So tan theta equal absolute value m1 minus m2 over 1 plus m1 times m2. So we can substitute by m1 and m2, so will be 0 minus negative 2 over 1 plus m1 times m2 will be 0 multiply negative 2. So the answer here will be 2. So tan theta equals 2. So theta equal shift tan the ratio 2 will be 63 degree and 26 minutes and 6 seconds approximately. So another example, ABC is triangle in which A 0 and 5, B 2 and 1, 2 and negative 1, C 6 and 3. Prove that the triangle is isosceles triangle. Then find the measure of the angle A. Okay. To prove that the triangle is isosceles triangle, so we can use the distance between 2 points, which is root x2 minus x1 all power 2 plus y2 minus y1 all power 2. So we can use this rule to find AB 0 minus 2 all power 2 plus 5 minus negative 1 all power 2 will be 2 root 10 length unit. And we have AC square root 0 minus 6 all power 2 plus 5 minus 3 all to the power of 2 will be 2 root 10 length unit. And we have here BC will be 2 minus 6 all power 2 square root 2 minus 6 all power 2 plus negative 1 minus 3 all to the power of 2 will be 4 root 2 length units. So we have AB equal to AC. So the triangle is isosceles triangle because AB equal AC. We notice that we have BC is the greater side. If we make BC power 2 will be less than AB power 2 plus AC power 2. So the triangle is acute angled triangle. So angle A is acute angle triangle. The vertex A, which is opposite to BC, will be an acute angle. So we can find the slope of AB and slope of AC. Slope of AB will be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So 5 minus negative 1 over 0 minus 2 will be negative 3. So M1 represents slope of AB. And we have M2 slope of AC will be 5 minus 3 over 0 minus 6 will be negative 1 over 3. So we can find the angle between AB and AC, which is angle A, by using the rule tan theta equal absolute value m1 minus m2 over 1 plus m1 times m2. So substitute by m1 and m2 will be tan angle A equal negative 3 minus negative 1 over 3 over 1 plus negative 3 multiplied by negative 1 over 3, so will be equal 4 over 3. So we can find the angle A, measure of angle A will be 53 degree 7 minutes 49 seconds. So we find measure of angle A. Okay. When using the formula of the angle between the two lines, to find the measure of the interior angle of a triangle, you have to find first the type of this angle, acute or right or obtuse. In the previous example, find the area of triangle ABC to the nearest hundredth. So we can use determinant to find the area. Okay, what is the rule? So area of triangle ABC. So we have 3 points, 6 and 5, and 2 and the negative 1, 2 and the negative 1, and the third point 6 and 3. So this is x, y, x, y, x, y. So equals half, and determinant of, so this is column of x, 6, 2, then 6. The first one, sorry, 0, 0. So the first one here also is 0. And the column of y will be 5, negative 1 and 3. 5, negative 1 and 3. Then 1, 1, 1. By using calculator, we can find the absolute value of that determinant. So will be half times 32 will be 16 square units. Or we can use another way by using this rule, half time the two sides AB times AC times the angle between them, and we find the angle A. So half time AB will be 2 root 2 and AC also 2 root 2, then multiply by sine angle A, and sine angle A means sine 53 degree 81 minute. So also will be 16 square units. So you can use any rule to find the area of this triangle. And this is the last of our video. Thank you for your listening, and see you later.